What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Well, Joy Reid did it again. Joy Reid, the political pundit from MSNBC, you might recall about maybe 3 weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago, I did a video talking about how on her program, she said that black people who choose not to vote for Kamala are going to look real weird if they don't uh, if they don't do so. You're going to look real weird and you're going to look real lonely and ostracized, quote, over there. Um, well, she said it again. She said it on TikTok. Once again, she said that if you as a black person don't vote for Kamala Harris, you're going to look really weird. This is what she said.
You're going to look real crazy being on the other side of that line, particularly as a person of color. You're going to look real weird and real lonely on that side. You really are going to look crazy being on that side, given the cultural phenomenon of Vice President Kamala Debbie Harris.
Let me say this. Number one, we are not some monolithic group who somehow belong to the Democratic. First of all, we're not a monolithic group that think alike, act like, talk alike, just replicant copies of one another. We get enough of that racial profiling from police. Okay? We get enough of that. Oh, they all look alike. They all do, we get enough of that. Don't we complain about that enough? But somehow when it comes to voting, we all supposed to be this monolithic group that all think alike, act alike, talk alike. We're a racial group based upon individuals. Yes, we have a common struggle systemically, but we think and look at things differently. And no political party owns us. Okay? Y'all don't do this with any other race or any other group in this country except for us. And I shouldn't be made guilty, or any black person should be made guilty just because we choose not to support Kamala Harris. Now, the implication here is that she's talking to people who are considering voting for Trump, I think. But I don't know. She might still be talking about people who just don't support her in period. Support her, period. Let me tell you something. You or anybody else don't dictate who I or anybody anybody that subscribe to me or anybody. You don't tell us who to vote for. It's not in your. Who appointed you king of the Negroes? And then you said something about the cultural phenomenon that is Kamala Harris. First of all, this is media left wing manufactured bullshit. Isn't this the same woman that reportedly CNN, MSNBC, and other news affiliates were saying that one of the reasons they were trying to get rid of Biden is because they were trying to get rid of Kamala, the own party officials, because she was so unpopular? Remember that? The same Kamala Harris that was a fuck up the entire Biden administration with 28% approval rating. And it was talks about whether or not Biden was going to drop her from the ticket. Now all of a sudden she's this female Obama. Who do you think you're kidding? I'm not stupid. I don't believe you. I don't believe any of these stupid polls. None of this crap. This is a close election. That's what this is. This election is going to go down to the wire. And I still say, if anything, Trump still has a bit of electoral advantage, no matter what the left wing media is doing. See, this is the thing about the left wing media that pisses me off. And I'm not advocating Trump. I'm just, whatever, man. I gotta keep saying it all the time. People just are children now. if you really look at how they move, the Democrats, that's why I really despise them, because they try to pretend to be the party of righteousness. But these are the same people that was pushing Lynn Cheney to run as an independent to hurt Trump. But they don't want to mention RFK Jr. because they were afraid that he's going to take Democratic votes away. These are the same people that profess about democracy, but they didn't hold open primaries and rig the system for Joe Biden. They rigged it in 2016 so that Bernie Sanders would lose. Okay? With the superdelegate situation. They rigged it in 2020 when I don't know whether or not they threatened Buttigieg or threatened Amy Klobuchar, but the moderate Democrats dropped out of the primaries. But Elizabeth Warren, who had no shot at winning, but somehow was encouraged to stay in the race. Why? Because Joe Biden, who was the moderate-centric Democrat, was then cannibalizing the moderate votes that that Buttigieg and Klobuchar was getting, but Sanders was still splitting the liberal progressive vote. So Sanders, who was scoring these big victories in New Hampshire and Nevada, all of a sudden Biden was winning by default. He was fifth in the pecking order at one point in time, but they rigged it so Biden would win. They screwed Sanders twice. This time they didn't even really hold primaries in most states. They just anointed Biden the winner, and then they just gave it to Kamala. Now look, she is VP. She was elected in 2020, so people are wrong when they say that nobody voted for her. You did vote for her in 2020 because she was on the Biden-Harris ticket. You vote for the vice president too, so a lot of people are speaking ignorantly there. However, nobody voted for her this primary session. And this ain't 1968 when all states didn't have a primary, or at least supposed to have a primary vote put in place. So people the party just gave it to Campbell. And that insult to injury, you trying to tell us now all of a sudden she's this popular cultural phenomenon? Get out of here. She don't even want to talk policy. You know what I'm saying? And she can't speak unless it's scripted. Yeah, Trump says dumb things all the time, and I do videos flaming him for it. But at least he does have the balls to speak off the cuff. Kamala is fucking petrified. She's like Shaggy. She's like Don Knotts and goddamn the shakiest gun in the West when it comes to her speaking off the cuff, off script. She can't do it. And also another thing I want to point out. This is something that wasn't aware to me last time I did this video. This weird stuff she keeps saying, you're gonna look real crazy and real weird. I didn't realize how popular that terminology is with young people. They say that about anything that they don't like. That's part of their lexicon. So she's using that term on purpose because she's really talking to young black people who aren't in line with the dummy agenda. You know what I'm saying? Young black people look at this thing differently. They're not swayed by the magicians in the Democratic Party. They're not swayed by the same scare tactics or the same pressures. So they're taking people like Joy Reid and using certain terminology to try to pressure black people into voting and supporting this crook, this cop, this crooked cop, the way I look at her, you know what I'm saying? So that's strategic, trying to use certain terminology to bully young people into voting for somebody ain't gonna do nothing for them. Now I'm not saying Trump will do something for them either, but you can vote for who you want to vote for. If someone want to vote for Kamala, fine, vote for her. If someone want to vote for Trump, that's their prerogative. It ain't Joy Reid's a business who you vote for. You vote for who you want to vote for. And by the way, when she keeps saying you're gonna look crazy, bitch, it ain't your fucking business who I vote for. I don't have to tell you who I voted for when I go in the goddamn booth. That's your problem now. These people think they own black people. You go in that booth and you vote for who you want to vote for. Or if you vote absentia or vote early, you vote for who you want to vote for. You want to vote for RFK Jr.? That's your prerogative. You want to vote for Jill Stein? That's your prerogative. You want to vote for Dr. Cornel West? You do you. You don't want to vote? That's you. You want to vote for somebody else? Do that. It ain't her business. You're not old The Democratic Party does not own you or your vote. So that's all I got to say on that one.